Good evening. I'm on the Lough Road at Boardmills. We just passed the Temple Crossroads and you turn into the right. And I videoed Killaney Parish Church, St Andews, at just a bit near Temple Crossroads. There about 3 weeks ago, and it's quite an old church, but it wasn't the original site, and the original site, I'm told, is up here, and the old graveyard is up here as well, and I'm told that this is a medieval graveyard up this lane at the top of a hill. It's not often that you get a graveyard to begin with at the top of a hill, so I'm going up to investigate, and this will be Killaney Old Graveyard overlooking the Bow Lough and maybe Lough Eanaigh as well. So let's see what we find here. It's a beautiful night for a bit of urban exploring or rural exploring. And a guy who posts me about graveyards, Mark Ray, also put me onto this old graveyard because he knows I like videoing old graveyards. And there's the Bow Lough. Don't know this part of the country at all, but quite scenic. Those are wee goldfinches in the trees. Quite a number, and there's a few chaffinches there too. And this is drumlin country, basket of eggs country. That must be Lough Eanaigh over there. And if you see the sort of rounded shape of the hills, Greg in Iowa, this is what it's all about. This is glaciers laid these hills down. This is moraine, this is rich farming moraine. It was laid down, it was dragged along by the glaciers, and then as the glaciers sort of slowed down and melted, this moraine was left behind in the shape of these smoothed hills. But here's the old graveyard that I was talking about. And there originally was an old Killaney church here, but it's long gone. So let's see what we discover. I think this graveyard is actually still in use. Look at that. That's fabulous. And the original church was named Killaney because Killaney in Irish, I think it is, means church on the marsh. A couple of kayakers out there, I think. Yeah. And there's one closer in. Bet you they don't know that they're being videoed. Huh. So is there any sign? Nothing. There's an old stone stile. That's very helpful. Ooh. And here's what we've got. Just minding my feet here. The birds are singing. Old slate grave. Thomas McKee, glass drumming, 1890 to 1944. Born 1778, Samuel Edgar. Edgar's quite a common name around these parts. Died 1826. What does that say? Just trying to avoid the nettles. Also his sons of March, James, minister of Scots Church, Lower Gloucester Street, Dublin, for a period of 8 years. Old yew trees, and you know, these are all graves that I'm standing on. There's an old vault. Grave of his father and mother, the Reverend D. Edgar, Minister of Balnahinch and Professor of Divinity to the Presbyterian Synod of Ireland, died 1826. A lot of Edgars in here. And I can remember in my teaching days, I taught a lot of Edgars. So it's quite a common name. Look at the big slugs. The big massive black slugs here. I'll just put my finger down so that you can actually see the size of these boyos. In memory of Andrew Robin something, late of Killaney, departed this life October 1783. Also Anne, oh, the Robinson. What's that? It's been added in 1826, 1838. That's the first 1700 one I've come across. This is the erected, this is Fitzsimmons, I think. Families in memory of his grandfather. Don't know what that says. Died 1777, aged 40 years. Also his father, John Fitzmore Simons, died 1846, aged 96 likewise. So a whole family are in here. Not too sure what the triangle is at the bottom. Just fabulous, fabulous views here. It's normally a big house, like up there, that sits at the top of one of these drumlins. So I'm standing on a drumlin, I would presume, and we've got a graveyard instead. There's a great example of a drumlin up there. Yeah. No big house on the top, mind you. Or maybe there is. No, maybe not. There's a smashing looking house down there. Let's have a wee peep at it. Oh yes, I think I could manage in that house. There's the gorse in bloom, or the whin. This, you know, this is the kind of ancient headstone you get. Sort of somebody in the family obviously carved that, and you can't make anything out there. And these are all headstones. But you can't make head nor tail of them. James Davison, the subject of the Dr. Edgar Temperance tract, James, a true story of worldwide fame by a few of the early Sabbath scholars at Carryduff School, which he superintended for 37 years. He departed this life on the 12th day of March AD 1856, aged 70. That's interesting. Wee bit of information there. Love that. There's all sorts of wee markers in the undergrowth, but you can't see who or what they are. And there's all sorts of holes, and I'm probably walking on people's graves. I don't mean to, but that's the way it is. They're all over the place here. Old yew trees, as I said. And that has been inscribed at one time, but can't see a thing. And there has been an old grave in here, and the yew trees have really grown up around it. So that tells you its age. Can't read that, but there you have it anyway. It's not interesting. A grave enclosed by 4 trees. And somebody has made an attempt to try and protect these trees, so the place is used. So there you have it, folks. That was the Bow Lake I was looking at down there, and I think this one might be on the other side of the road, or maybe it's part of the Bow Lake. I'm not too sure. Is it Lough Henny? I don't know. So there's my wee video for tonight, while the wife is out, or not out, the wife is watching 2 episodes of that dreadful programme Coronation Street, which I hate. So I got myself out and about. I always wonder, who were these people in these old graveyards that I'm looking at? And will somebody come along in 100 years' time, 200 years' time, if the earth is still spinning, and they'll look down on my grave and they'll say, I wonder who that old goat was. I don't know. It's good to see the cows out grazing contentedly. After the long old winter we've had. See you soon.